doing are just as important as the things that you start doing when it comes to fat loss over 40 and around the time of menopause. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50 get in amazing shape. And I'm gonna talk about the things I stopped doing to get in the shape that I am today. I'm 56 years old and I've stayed in shape pretty much for the last 4 to 5 years. And I've had to make some sacrifices. There's some that have been easy sacrifices and some are a little bit more difficult. And I'm gonna talk you through the 6 things I stopped doing to get in shape in my 50s. The number one thing, and this was like a huge game changer, was giving up alcohol. Alcohol, there are lots of problems with consuming alcohol generally for your overall health. Now the thinking is going beyond like that whether there's a safe limit, and actually the safest limit is not to drink alcohol at all, both for your mental and physical health. But this becomes much more acute at around the time of perimenopause and menopause, because it can be really disruptive to your hormones. It's actually going to stop you muscle building if you're consuming alcohol. And so if you quit alcohol, what you'll notice is you're going to sleep much better, your hormones are more likely to be better in balance, you'll have less fat around your midsection, because guess what, when you drink alcohol it actually stores fat around your midsection. You're going to feel clear-headed and more energetic. I could go on, and there are so many health benefits. And do I regret it? Do I miss it? Absolutely not, because my life has been completely transformed without having alcohol in it. The number 2 thing that I quit, or I only ever have really occasionally, and that is sugar. And sugar, again, for females over 40, trying to get in shape and trying to sort of have good health, sugar can be a big problem, because at this stage in life we're far more likely to have something called insulin resistance, and that is when your blood sugars can be all over the place, and so you can get blood sugar spikes and your pancreas is not controlling your blood sugars properly, and that can cause you to store fat, again, around your midsection, but potentially all over your body. And so if you're consuming sugar, it's going to make the insulin worse, it's going to make fat loss really, really difficult. I often find at the time, on really special occasions when I do consume sugar, that I actually experience like a sugar hangover and I feel really crappy the next day. So what I think to myself is, if I'm consuming too much of it all the time, that's what I'm going to feel like all the time. So yes, it's a sacrifice. There are sugar substitutes that I use, like monk fruit and erythritol, because yes, I do have a sweet tooth, and that's how I overcome it. The other big thing that I have mostly given up, and that is white flour, particularly things like pasta and pizzas. I just don't consume them anymore. And a lot of the products that have ingredients with white flour, again, because we are prone to be more insulin resistant, white flour is going to give you that huge blood sugar spike, which doesn't do you any favors. It's really hard to lose weight, lose fat when you're consuming too much of that. And I tend to go for whole grains instead. So I'm not talking about quitting carbohydrates altogether. I eat plenty of carbohydrates, but I tend to stick instead to things like oatmeal, brown rice, black rice, even sometimes occasionally white rice If I go for basmati, that is lower on the GI index. And then quinoa, sweet potatoes, squashes, that kind of thing. Those are the really great ways you can take in carbohydrate safely and not mess with your blood sugar levels. The fourth big thing that I gave up was long distance running. Now, I'm not talking about sprinting. From time to time, I still incorporate sprinting as high intensity interval training, but I quit long distance running altogether. So as a ballpark, you know, I'm not going to run for more than 30 minutes. I probably don't even run for more than 15 minutes. But any of you watching this, I would advise against long distance running for more than 30 minutes or so, because what that's going to do is it's going to deplete your muscle mass, and you can't afford to lose muscle at this stage in life. You're already losing it at a rate of 1% per year once you hit over the age of 40. And the way that you're going to boost your metabolism, you're going to increase your longevity, you're going to have better bone health, balance, mobility and stability, and really importantly, you're going to boost fat loss, is by building and retaining muscle. And running goes completely against that. And what I mean by that is long distance running, endurance training. Any type of endurance training does not do you any favours. At this stage in life, perfectly okay for a young person, but not okay when you get to this stage in life. And I know I'm going to get loads of hate comments in the chat, and I'm going to show you a picture here of what I looked like when I was a long distance runner, and you can see what I look like now. And my main protocol is about strength training, and it's about good nutrition. And we really thrive on that as women over 40. We do much better on that type of protocol. The fifth thing that I quit to get in shape over 40 was intermittent fasting. And this is another one where I tend to get a bit of hate because people go, well, I do really well on intermittent fasting. I'm not too worried about people that just skip breakfast, or they maybe start their meals at like 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something like that. But when you're talking about extreme fasting, what that actually does is it slows your metabolism down. So yeah, it can be really good for weight loss, but remember, weight loss is different from fat loss, because if you lose weight on the scale, you can lose muscle mass as well. And so it's really difficult to build or even retain muscle when you're on an intermittent fasting protocol as a woman over 40, because it's really hard to build muscle, and you're actually going against nature when you're trying to build muscle, because your body's actually depleting muscle. So if you're following a protocol that depletes your muscle even more, guess what? That's going to damage your metabolism. You're going to actually make your metabolism worse. And so I don't recommend intermittent fasting. And I did it for 18 months. And yes, I did it properly. I started off with 16/8 and I went down to even 2-hour feeding windows. And you know, you can't take in enough calories, you can't take in enough protein when you're on that type of protocol. And what I find with women that approach me personally that has been on that kind of regimen is they've normally found it's actually stopped working after a while, or they've gained the weight back again because it's not sustainable in the long term. My number 6 thing that I quit was stopping not making my health a priority. So it really meant that I started something. So in other words, rather than putting everyone else's needs first, that's what I stopped doing. I started putting my health a priority. And guess what? When I did that, it affected everyone around me. in a positive way. So never worry if you're taking time to make your health a priority. You won't regret it. It's not one of those things where you'll wake up one day and think, oh, those few years I spent making myself a priority, making my health a priority, I really regret that. You're not going to say that. But if you've spent years not making your health a priority, you may regret it. But it's never too late to start.